live in just a moment.
Oh, it says live
Oh,
up.
meeting is now streaming live.
Yep.
Let me get my thing. Wonderful, wonderful. Let me just see, make sure that we got a few views before I start talking, so I'm not talking to myself. Okay.
Good.
So, yeah, hello. Welcome to the Escondido Public Library Virtual Author Chat Series. The series is sponsored by the Friends of the Escondido Public Library and in partnership with the Ripped Bodice Bookstore, where you can purchase Beverly Jenkins books, especially
Yay.
Wild Rain.
Yay.
I'm your host, Jessica Buck, and today I am joined by the amazing, the incredible Miss Bev. It is so good to talk to you.
I'm so glad to be here. I'm looking to have a good time this evening with you and your patrons and whoever else is here. And if it's only just you and I, we'll still have a good time. So.
Absolutely. And just for anyone who doesn't know who you are, I'm going to just do a little introduction so that people can get to know you a little bit. So for those who don't know, Beverly Jenkins is a recipient of the 2017 Romance Writers of America Nora Roberts Lifetime Achievement Award, as well as the 2016 Romantic Times Reviewer's Choice Award for Historical Romance. She has been nominated for the NAACP Image Award in Literature, was featured both in the documentary Love Between the Covers and on CBS Sunday Morning. Did I get that right? I just copied and pasted it off your site. Okay.
You get it right.
Since the publication of Night Song in 1994, she has been leading the charge for multicultural romance and has been a constant darling of reviewers, fans, and peers alike, garnering accolades for her work from the likes of the Wall Street Journal, People Magazine, NPR, and now I can add the New York Times.
Oh, that was amazing. Oh my goodness. We were all like, Fred Sanford, we're coming to you. Elizabeth from the New York.
I got so excited.
Oh, it was awesome. Some people were like, Miss
And it
Beth.
was long.
It was. It was. I sent.
It wasn't a snippet.
I sent Tina Jordan, who's I think she's the book editor. I sent her a nice little note. Well, just a thank you yesterday evening, and just to let her know, how grateful I was. And she sent me a nice little note back. And I also thanked Carol Bell, who did the review, because my mama raised me well. You thank folks who do good things for you, and so. But it was an amazing day all over the place yesterday. With the debut of Wild Rain, and then the New York Times, and then and every trade gave the book a starred review. So Publishers Weekly and Kirkus and all of that. So it's been an amazing kind of thing.
Yeah, and you've been just busy. And I wanted to. Oh, I have the little proof. There we go.
Yeah.
Wild Rain.
It's a good book. It's a good book.
And before I forget, I just want everyone watching to know, if you have questions for Miss Bev, please put those in the comments, and I will get to those when I can. And later on, if you need closed captions, those will be available on YouTube once I upload the video to our YouTube channel.
Good. Very good.
So congrats. Wild Rain is out. You had the wonderful review in New York Times. You've had a crazy party yesterday. I watched some of your chat with Jen. You had stuff today. You had stuff like,
I know.
You're crazy busy.
Yeah, I was in Appalachia Monday, yesterday Chicago, today here with you. Tomorrow is Lansing, Michigan, which is the capital of the Mitten, which is what we call the state, because that's what it looks like. The capital of the Mitten, and just a couple miles down the road from where I went to college, from Michigan State University. So it'll be like a small homecoming. And then nothing Friday. And then we start over all again the next week. State and what else do I have? Coastal Magic Convention. Doing a thing for the Blue Cross Blue Shield people for their Black History Month. And it's just a whole lot of stuff. But, you know,
It
it
is.
goes with the territory. And I am blessed to be able to do this. So I am not
Well,
complaining.
I'm so thankful that you're joining me, even though you've already had a full week and it's 2 days in.
It's okay. I'm enjoying myself. So I got enough energy for you today. So we're good.
Yeah, good. So we are here to talk about you, but we're also here to talk about Wild Rain. So tell us a little bit about Wild Rain.
Well, the heroine, her name is Spring Rain. And Spring Rain Lee. And she's a lady rancher. She breaks horses for a living, lives alone. Lives
She
in
wears
Wyoming.
pants.
Yeah, she wears pants. Like she said, you can't break horses in a ball gown. Sleeps with a colt, peacemaker. And she's just an all-around badass. She's very, very conscious of who she is, and not ashamed of who she is. She had a rough, rough time coming up from the ages of 18. She and her grandfather, who was raising her after her parents died, are estranged. And I'm not going to give you the spoiler as to what happened, but they don't get along very well. And she struck out on her own and made some sacrifices in order to get the job that she that kept her from being homeless.
Mm-hmm.
So we meet her now, maybe 10 years later, and girlfriend is, I've been saying this all week. She's all barbed wire and hard edges and nails and stuff. And in the middle of a snowstorm, she runs into this guy who's been thrown from his horse and finds out that he is a reporter from DC who has come west to interview her brother. And he finds, she winds up taking him home, and because he got no place to go in the middle of the snowstorm, she's not gonna let the poor man freeze to death, even though she don't want him in the house. She's like, I don't do visitors. She said, but I'll bring you in, and once the snow is cleared, I'll drop you off at my brother's, and I'll go on with my life, and see you later.
Mm-hmm.
But he is absolutely fascinated by her. He's never seen a woman with a gun belt before. And never seen a woman who talks about going into the bar, to get whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And she just continually, he's just, every time he talks to her, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. She keeps telling him stuff. He's my first cinnamon roll hero.
Mm-hmm. That's my next question.
I know.
Did he decide that?
I did.
No, I said, did he decide that?
Did he decide he was a cinnamon roll? Yeah, he did. He showed up. Because a lot of times, I don't create my characters, they create themselves. And he's just a sweetheart. I mean, just very, very soft, very sweet. Every time we see him, he's got a book in his hand. But not soft and sweet in a diminishing kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy. He knows he's a guy. He's got all the guy trappings, but very, very cognizant of the fact that he couldn't change her even if he wanted to. And he doesn't want to. He wants her, just the way she is. So I had a good time, writing this. I think they complement each other very well. So, you get the story, and then they eventually, because, Spring is not looking for love. She's like, nope, not doing it. I got my horses. I have my land. I have my freedom. And no, I don't want babies. I'm good. Um, so he comes in and sort of rocks her world as much as she rocks his. But she's not changing her mind about those kids, though. So, which we don't see a lot in romance.
Mm-hmm.
Don't see a lot of heroines who profess to not want kids. And I'm not talking about people who are medically unable. That's a whole different thing. But she's like, nope, not having kids. I'm fine. I got my horses. So that's it in a nutshell without giving away any spoilers. I had somebody who asked me, well, when was the last time you went to Wyoming? You described it so well. And I've never been to Wyoming. I've never, set foot in a lot of these places where I have written stories, but that's what libraries are for. So, libraries and
Gotta get that research.
Gotta get that research. You gotta know what.
Google Maps.
What'd you say?
Google Maps.
Yep, Google Maps and the Rand McNally Road Atlas, because that gives you topography and distance and all of that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and I've never even used. I don't think I've ever used Google Maps. I think I'm old school, so it's always been the atlas. I don't even have Google Maps. Well, I do have Google Maps just to get from place to place here, but it's just always in fact, I just got a brand new one. They have a huge one now. My other one was like tattered and taped together and, all of that. And they had put out a small double volume about 10 years ago that had all of the old railroad roads.
Ooh.
So I knew where the, all the railroads went, and it's been really helpful in doing travel for historicals because you know where certain railroads went and all that. So that's from working in libraries all my life, being able to figure out, oh, I bet I can find this and that. And so, yeah.
I love seeing where railroads are because I don't know why, but ever since I was little, I always wanted to be a train conductor.
Did you? Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Like, for a while, I thought about getting like a job in the mall where they have that train around the mall. And I was always like, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah. But I think in another life, that might have been.
Yeah.
That might have been what I did.
I'll have to send you the title of that source. I don't know if it's still in print. I probably got it 20 years ago.
Hey, interlibrary loan, you never know.
I know, it's probably, yeah. I'll have to send you that. But it's just great. And it gives you dates and, where they all went and all that. So that's kind of, us nerds, we love that kind of stuff. People are like, nah, yeah, we like that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah.
So Wild Rain is the second in your Women Who Dare series, the first being Rebel, which I love. And both of them take place right after the Civil War.
Right.
So what inspired this series? Is it just the books themselves individually that just happened to go along, or did you envision them together?
I didn't envision. Some people wanted to know how come the women were not like related or sisters or any of that. And I'm like, well, I usually write standalone books. If you they're broken down into series on my webpage, but that's not how they were written as standalone. So, and then I have always written Women Who Dare in some form. So I tell people, we just decided to give it a name and that's the series Women Who Dare,
Works for me.
thing, right? But yeah, it started with Rebel, which is one of the books in the House of Levesque series. And then Tempest, which is the second book. Well, it was really the third book in the Old West series, which started with Ryan and Edie in Nevada. So I don't know who the third woman's going to be. I have no idea. I'm sure she will, make herself known. She's due to New York in September. So between now and then, we'll figure out who she is. I've been fooling and sort of playing around with different kinds of ideas. I have a couple of side character ladies that I may do, or something entirely different. I don't know. We'll see where the pants are.
Where they take you.
Yeah, where it takes me. So I'm looking forward to that.
So we've had a few questions already about your writing process and your routine.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with asking what your favorite part of the writing process is, because that's my question.
Probably the end. I mean, people think that, we love what we do. We absolutely enjoy writing, but it's hard work. It's hard work, especially writing romance. I tend to think that romance is probably the hardest thing to write, because we're writing about emotions, we're writing about relationships, we're writing about people. And in order to write a desert island keeper, or something for the keeper shelf that our fans have, it's got to be a good story. And for somebody who's been in the business as long as I have been, which is, I think this is year 27, you can't write the same book every time. You have to write each book differently. So it's hard. And then when you get to that last day after being on deadline, and you haven't eaten for 3 days, and you haven't showered, and your brain is just, and your brain is like a muscle. Well, it is a muscle. So it's like constantly squeezing that, trying to get those words out in that last week or so. You are so damn tired, you don't want to see another word. So hitting the end and send is like, hallelujah, hallelujah. And then you think you're going to take 2 weeks off, and probably 2 days later, the muse is tapping you on the shoulder going, about that other story? How about that other story? How about let's start that now? And you're like, no, go away. Come back in 3 days. But I absolutely love creating the stories. Absolutely.
Do your characters interrupt you? They'll know this is my writing time, or do they you're doing the dishes and all of a sudden they're like, hey, write me?
Yeah, that's it. And tapping me on the shoulder while I'm watching football, or and I've said this before, and then they, since I'm a pantser, so I don't know a lot of times what the story's going to be, what they're going to say. There's a scene in Wild Rain where she is, comes into the saloon looking for this whiskey that she had ordered. And this guy that, turns out to be the villain says something to her that I was like, whoa, wait, what are you talking about? And her response was, oh my God, had no idea. No clue. No clue. In fact, I had to go and look up, it's a reference to straws. So I had to go and look up what kind of straws were used back then in order, that was my part of the conversation. I'm like, what? So they surprise me a lot. They know the story and I don't a lot of times. I told, I've referenced this before too. I was talking to Sarah of Smart Bitches in an interview. And I told her that,
Hmm.
I think that sometimes my characters are in the corner in my office laughing at me because they know the story and I don't, and they're feeding me little pieces of things. Just like with one of the Blessings books, when Malachi had done something really, really dumb and he left town. And I didn't know where he went. I had no idea where he was. And so the night, it's 4 o'clock in the morning for me. The book is due that day. And I'm standing in the dark in the bathroom, screaming in the mirror, where the hell are you? And I, I swear, popped up. The answer was right there. They're like, here's your answer. And I'm like, you know what? Y'all could have told me
Could
this.
have saved me a lot of time.
Yes, they could have told me this 2 weeks ago. And I'm pulling my hair, I'm getting more gray. I'm like, really? So, and people who are not writers don't understand that. They're like, what's wrong with you people? But other writers get it. Yeah, they have a life of their own and they will not do things that they don't want to do. You can put a character in a scene, and if that character does not want to do that or say that or be moved around in such a way, you'll never get it written right because it's not, they don't want to play along with that kind of stuff. It's very interesting. Okay.
I'm just imagining you screaming at the mirror.
Oh, girl, looking terrible, haven't eaten, no sleep, and it's like, Jesus Christ, can you help a girl out? Come on now. So, yeah, but they gave me the answer right then, right then. So I went back into my office and finished the book and turned it in a couple hours later and fell out. Fell out.
This question is from Diane. She wants to know, how has your writing routine changed over the years? Was there less screaming in the beginning?
There seemed to be, I think they like to, people like to torture their characters. I think my characters like to torture me. Um, One of the things that has changed, though, is that I'm more steeped in the history, especially for the 19th century, which is why you see maybe less history in my books now than you saw in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the beginning of my career, there was so much to tell, so much to tell, so much for um, uh, to bring to the page that we didn't know. And as we went through those first 14 or 15 books, you get a lot of history. And so now, I don't try and insult my readers by going over the same stuff. I mean, they know where we are. And a lot of times it's more about just a regular story, but still with that history background.
Mm-hmm.
But that's changed. I guess that's been a change, is that it's not as much history focused as it used to be. I'm still a mess, still disorganized. I got a lot more books than I, had when I started. I'm still a pantser. I still write at night, even though I'm in the house by myself now. My brain still doesn't kick on till, because when I first started, I had a husband, I had 2 kids, I had a job, I had a brownie troop, I had, hats wore at, church, and real active in the community. So, hubby is, in heaven playing golf, and the kids are grown and gone, and I've gotten off a lot of the boards that I was on in the community, and still doing a lot for my church, but still working at night, working at night. I may work from 9 at night till, I don't know, sometimes 2, sometimes 4 in the morning. My friends know not to call me until after 10 o'clock because number one, I'm not going to answer the phone. And number two, I may have just gone to bed. So they know to, call me later in the day. So hopefully, Diane, that answered your question a little bit. If not, send me another one. Send me a second half or something.
And I'm just going to say that I'm reading through the comments and everyone loves you. And they're sending lots of love. And they say, keep it coming.
Okay. I love you all. I love my readers so much. Oh, my goodness. They had me crying the other day on 3 different pages on Facebook. Well, it has been such a...
I saw your post.
Yeah. And, their support and their love, had me crying all over the internet, or as they say on Twitter, crying all over Beyonce's internet, but I absolutely adore them. And I often tell them that when I count my blessings, I count them twice because they are so damn awesome. Yeah. I'm gonna get teared up here. Okay. No tearing on.
I know, I'm getting a little teary. I'm just like, we need to stop talking about this.
No tearing on the library internet. What else do we have?
So, Karen wants to know, how long does it take you to write one of these awesome novels?
I do 2 books a year. And so basically it should take me 6 months. I write slowly though sometimes. And then I'm always distracted. And then there's Twitter. And
you are on Twitter.
I am on Twitter.
I see you tweeting.
I know.
In fact, we're going to talk about one of those interesting conversations about banned euphemisms because...
Oh, dear. Yeah, and I'm sure my editor is, sitting in her office screaming, get off Twitter and go to work. But she's too sweet to actually say that, even though she's got the thought bubble above her head. So it should take me 6 months to write, because I do 1 blessings book a year and 1 historical. So we pulled the blessings book this week. So it will be out not this Christmas, but next Christmas.
Hey, something for us to look forward to.
Yep. And then the next historical will be due to her in September. So I'll have plenty of time because, a girl needs a rest. I have been going full bore since 2016.
You are impressive.
Oh, God. But then I look at, well, you try not to compare yourself to other people. I saw Brenda Jackson on a interview earlier this week, and I know she had written 100 books. She's written 138. She does 6 books a year. I told her just being around her makes me tired. So, I can only kick out 2 a year. She's kicked out 6 a year for I don't know how long. And absolutely great books. So it can be done. It takes me 6 years just to get in my office, so yeah, I don't have, I guess I'm disciplined, but I'm disciplined in a different kind of way than I think that she is, but she's a good friend and a sweetheart. So, but yeah, she impresses me. We went to Hawaii one time, and we're on the beach and Brenda's in the room writing. I'm like, girl, we're in Hawaii. What are you doing? But she doesn't like for me to tell that story. So you didn't hear that from me. So I know. I love her madly. She's awesome. All right.
Well, I'm
So,
just going to read some more of the comments. Tamara says that they want you to be happy, healthy, and whole.
oh, I know. I love them. They make sure I eat too. They yell at me on my Facebook page. Miss Bab, did you eat today? And I have to tell the truth. And sometimes I say yes. And most of the time that's the truth. So
Oh,
they remind me
that's
to
like
eat.
my husband. He's always making sure that I remember to eat, because sometimes I'll work through my lunch.
Yeah. Well, I'll work through days. It'll be like, okay, like yesterday was so crazy. I opened up a can of chicken soup at about 11. And then I had that Zoom last night, sort of, well, at 9. And so about 6 o'clock, I was like, okay, I'm hungry. I threw like maybe 8 Cheerios in a bowl. And that was sort of, and I told the ladies that. And they were like, get you something to eat, after it was done. But yeah, I work. And then, if I'm on deadline, it may be, 2 days before I eat. Um, Back in the olden days, my neighbors would feed me. They'd know I was on deadline and they'd knock on the door and, it'd be dinner and, and and this
That's
old Southern
sweet.
lady, it's all starch, it's all potatoes and corn and, but very, very, very appreciated because without it, I wouldn't have eaten at all. And she said, I know you're on deadline. Here, eat. Yes, ma'am. So
Well, have you eaten today?
yeah. I had to think. What did I have today? I had Cheerios this morning. I had Cheerios this morning. And then, I had DoorDash bring me, what did they bring me? Fish tacos. I had those at around
Good.
2 o'clock. And then usually it's 3 and they're big and they're just so good. I just love them. From a place called the Twisted Rooster. And
Ooh.
I'm going through my mail here. I got like, I don't know, 6 weeks of unopened mail. My living room looks like my living room, I swear, looks like the Amazon warehouse with all these boxes, right? And every day for the last probably week, my poor mail lady has had to get out of the truck and bring me a package. So there's a package here somewhere with cookies in it. Somebody that I somebody that I did an interview with in the last, I don't know, 2 months. I vaguely remember them asking me, well, did you like cookies? And I'm like, yeah. So I guess it's cookies. So I'm going to open those after I get done with you and have me some
You're gonna
coffee.
have to sniff them out.
Yeah, I know the boxes. I just didn't open it yet. I can see it right here. But I got so much mail in this house. My daughter came in the other day. She said, oh, it looked extra, extra in here today. I'm like, yeah, it is. Lots of stuff. But that's what happens. You're on deadline. You don't care about the dishes. My kitchen, because I'm on
Mm-hmm.
deadline for the last month. And pulling that book last week or this week has allowed
Yeah.
me to, do some stuff. So, I finally can get into my kitchen without, being slapped by all of the clutter and, when I run out of coffee cups, and I know it's like, okay, you're in trouble now. You really need to do something about this. So I tackled the kitchen yesterday and sort of doing the living room today, and bathroom's always clean, but my bedroom, I can't even get in my office. My bedroom is my office now, so I've trashed I haven't been able to get an office since they shot Love Between the Covers, and that was 8 years ago. So I'm a mess,
This is
girl.
like Confessions with Beverly Jenkins.
Beverly Jenkins Confessions. And you cannot mail me with it because everybody already knows because I'm always talking my own business. So all right, enough about me.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to combine a question that we got and one I had. So what is the most unexpected inspiration that you've had for a story or for a character?
Whew. I
Or the
probably
most unexpected?
I'd probably have to say that that line that inspired Indigo, um, the freed slave who said he knew a man who had sold himself into slavery for the love of a woman. Um, so unexpected, so heart-stopping. And then knowing that slavery is not a feel-good kind of thing, and romance is a happy ending kind of genre.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did, I knew I could not write his story, his story and the woman that he fell in love with, because there's no guarantee that she was not sold the next day, with slavery. But they had a daughter, and I was like, well, what if she was somehow able to escape enslavement and get back to his people, the free people in Michigan. And that kicked off the story of Indigo. The letters that begin the story are mine, but they didn't come out of me until maybe a third of the way in the book, third of the way into the book. And it was as if the man named Wyatt, that was the man's name, it was as if he tapped me on the shoulder and wanted me to write these letters to his sister so that she would know what had happened to him. It was the oddest experience I've ever had writing. These letters poured out of me, no typos, one shot. I was in tears when I got done. That's probably one of the most moving and surprising experiences that I ever had. And that was Indigo came out in 96, so that was 1995. And then Zoe with the Blessing series, Underneath That Bridge with Those Rats, was another, oh my God kind of moment, but in a different kind of way. So, it's, I tell people, that my stories come through me. They're not of me. And that was an example of me just channeling whatever came through. This little girl and trying to hide from these rats in this box. So yeah, writing is an interesting pastime, hobby, career, whatever you want to call it. Calling, yeah, that too. So it's interesting. I have stopped answering my phone. I am a woman of a certain age, and so everybody wants to sell me. They want to sell me knee braces. They want to try and trick me into thinking it's Windows and you have. I'm like, get the fuck off my phone, So I've stopped answering.
You are live on Facebook.
Yeah. Right. Or somebody has made a purchase on your debit card, and this is so and so, and I'm like, no,
Let's try.
nah. So I don't answer my phone. If it's important, they'll leave a message.
I'm the same. So many spam calls.
Yeah, not answering. And they get tired after a while and they stop calling, and then somebody else give my phone number to somebody else and they try and call too, and I don't talk to them either. So, all right. It stopped ringing now.
Okay, let me see. Where are we in the questions?
Who knows, girl? You're supposed to be in track of. You're supposed to be in charge of me. You're in charge of me. Hard work
Okay,
sometimes.
So I tried to watch all the chats that you and Jen had last night because I didn't want to ask you the same question. And I was watching it this morning and I was like, oh, she asked the question. So I was like, oh, she asked that question.
She's good. I mean, everybody asks me great questions. So if you need to ask it again, it's okay.
It's fine. I was just going to. So at the end of the chat that you and Jen had last night, when she was asking you the 10 questions, and the first one, because I had this on speakerphone so my husband could hear. As soon as she asked you about what your favorite word was, I was like, it's going to be dirty. And then immediately after you said it, and then we just busted out laughing.
Yes.
I was like, I knew it.
I have no shame. And, being a lady of a certain age, I got to worry about that. I'll be 70 on Monday. So, you chalk it up to not having any fucks to give. So forget this.
This is an adult program.
Well, it's a public library. I need to watch my mouth. So, but yeah, I mean, me and my daughter, she inherited my mouth. And I remember when she was in school, she's 40 now. Remember when she was in college and she and I were on a phone call and and the air was just blue between the two of us. She was telling me about something and she was cussing back and forth. And I heard her say, my mom. And I guess somebody had asked her who she was talking to. And then she said, talking to my mom. She said, yeah, my mom. So it's like, she said, how you think I got this mouth? So, but it's a product of being in college in the late 60s and early 70s. I mean, it was a cuss word every second, third word. So, all my girlfriends cuss like this, and they're educators and bankers and all of that, and we get together and it's like 1970 all over again, and the fucks are just flying. So.
I need to send you a song that I think you'll like.
Okay.
Because it says that word a lot, and it is fantastic.
Okay. Do that. That's fine.
I'll have to remember that.
Okay.
Because we ain't got no more to give.
I got nothing to give. I don't have to.
Okay, so what are you doing when you're not writing and screaming at the mirrors in your house?
I am right now trying to clean my house, which is an ongoing project. I am trying to catch up on my TBR. I haven't read a book since probably September, early September, when the last J.D. Robb came out. And so I have, when I'm not writing, I'm trying to catch up on that. I'm also a gardener. I did manage to get, it's like, you got tons of books on your TBR, right? And you just keep buying books. Well, that's me and that's me and bulbs.
I remember last October when we were chatting, you had just admitted that you ordered more bulbs.
I did. I ordered probably, I don't know, 100, 110. I did manage to get them in the last week before it snowed. And I was so proud of myself. So I know that in the springtime, I'm going to have beauty out in front of my house, as long as the damn rabbits don't eat it. I need a rabbit guard, girl. But I planted tulips and alliums and lilies. New. I got a lot of that older stuff in the back, but I had I don't know, a 25-foot maple out in front of my house that we had to cut down because the roots were eating into the sewer system. So it was a lot of shade on the front of the house, and now it's all sun. So I can put full sunflowers out there, like roses and um, daylilies and stuff that likes full sun out there. So I keeping my fingers crossed that I have everything locked down with plastic grating so that the squirrels don't dig it up, because squirrels like bulbs. It's like they like the fat content. It's like chocolate for them. They take it and take it home and put it in their refrigerator. So I have everything locked down with plastic sheeting and these big ass landscape staples in the ground so that the squirrels can't dig it up. So probably, I don't know, end of March, middle March, when the crocuses come up, I will go out and take the grading up and keep my fingers crossed that I get a lot of beauty out there, because Lord knows the world needs it. Um, and then when I'm not doing that, I'm a baker. Sometimes my baking is sort of falling off, so because the kids aren't here, nobody to eat it. And Lord knows I don't need to be eating a whole pound cake, so or 18 cinnamon rolls, or but I do a little bit of baking still. So those are the main things that, and buy books. So that's the things that I do when I'm not writing.
Are you reading anything good right now? Have you started your TBR yet?
Not yet. I want to start. I was so surprised Tuesday midnight when the new J.D. Robb dropped. I mean, who is more prolific than Queen Nora? No one. Not even Brenda. Queen Nora. And I didn't even know I had pre-ordered it. Obviously, as I said on Twitter, past me was taking care of present me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's there. Blood Air. I'm a big Alona Andrews fan. Blood Air is part of her new Kate Daniels World stuff. So that's there. I want to read that. Jim Butcher. Um, then I've got a Rebecca Roanhorse on there. And then I got tons of romance. And then Bree turned me on to, we were talking sharks. There's no telling what we're talking about on Romance Landia at night sometimes. We call it Romance Landia at night. And we were talking sharks one night. Oh, I had shown the picture of this young woman who swims with killer whales. Was it killer whales? No whales. It was Big Blue. And so we got to talking about sharks. So she turned me on to nonfiction. This woman who was doing killer whales off of the coast of California. She was riding with some of the researchers out there. And so I want to start that also. So I have a very eclectic brain. I want to read everything, always, always. Mm-hmm. What else?
Yeah, my list is always growing.
Yeah.
And then I forget things that are on it, and I'll put them on it again.
I know. Good thing Amazon will say, you have already ordered this. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, don't buy it again. You've ordered this already. So, yeah. Yeah.
We are a few minutes over, and I wanted to make sure that we didn't go too far over, because I know that you've been so busy and you're so wonderful to be sitting here chatting with me. So I'm going to just scroll through, make sure I didn't miss any questions. I don't think I did. Just a lot of love for you.
Oh,
lots of love.
I want to thank everybody who showed up. Thank you so much. Knowing that you're out there is a wonderful thing. Keeps me going. Doing a library tomorrow too, which is one of my favorite places. I'm going to be on a panel with Carla Hayden. Oh my God. And it's a good thing it's virtual and not in person, because I would be so fangirlish. They would probably have to take me from the room. Get her out of here. you know. But I'm doing, I don't even think we're going to be, in the building at the same time or whatever, but I'm doing the opening keynote and she's doing, I think, the closing. But just the idea that I'm on a ad with her is just, and for those who don't know who that is, that's the library, the head lady, the head library lady. So I'm looking forward to that. That's at the end of the month. So, but yeah, I got miles to go before I can sleep, as Robert Frost would say. Miles to go. But it's
I'm going to go with thee.
You gonna go with me?
I'm gonna close this out. I'm gonna close this out so that you can get some rest and eat those cookies. So just really quickly, what's next for you?
Next
except the cookies.
Except for the cookies. Next is to finish the Blessings book so that it can be ready for next Christmas. And then the next historical, who we don't know who she's going to be, for the Women Who Dare series, is due to my ever patient editor in September. So I'll have all summer because, I'm not going to be getting on any planes going anywhere till next year. Yeah. So hopefully I get that done, and then it'll be time to figure out what we want to do, because the last Woman Who Dare is the last book on the contract. So we'll have to, me and my agent will get together and figure out where we want to go from here. We'll see. But I'm going to still be writing. It doesn't matter, what it is. I'm still going to be writing. So we'll see. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who was watching, who asked questions, who was sharing all of your love for Miss Bev. I hope you felt the love, Miss Bev.
Yeah, I did.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody out there. Even though I can't see you, I can feel you. So I appreciate you very much.
Yes. And if anyone here is interested in more free online programming like this from our library, check out our Facebook events to see all the fun and free digital events we have planned. My next chat will be Thursday, February 18th, here live on Facebook again. For our pop culture panel series, we're going to be discussing romance in graphic novels and comics. And my panelists will be Steve Amadalin, Sarah Kuhn, Sydney Heifler, and Johnny Christmas.
Okay.
And before I forget, because I told myself I'm not going to forget, if you enjoyed this chat, I am pasting a quick survey into the comments. It is 3 questions. It is easy. Let us know what you liked, how you liked it. It makes me look good. Please do it. Thank you.
Please fill out the survey so we can do this again. Support.
Yes.
Friend here. Yeah.
I'm thinking once a year, Miss Bev.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. Sure. Yeah. Once a year, great.
Check. Okay, so thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.